And I says, Raleigh, well, keep talking to me. Who knows about this? He says, only my wife, and now you, and those that heard it tonight. He says, but you're a pastor. How do I, I'm frightened. I said, Raleigh, come with me. So we went off to a side room. We started talking. I said, Raleigh, tell me about your life. Tell me about your walk with God. He says, walk with God? He says, I have no walk with God. I have no relationship with God. And I says, well, did you ever as a young man? Or no, I just raised in a family. It's all about work. If you work hard, you get this reward. If you do this, you get this. And he went on talking to me, and that night we talked for about late into the evening, and then we had to leave. I said, Raleigh, I'll come out tomorrow and see you. He said, I'd like that. And I said, by the way, instead of Reverend, just call me Pastor. Okay, I'll do that. He says, okay, I'll do that. So we got together the next day, and I went up to his house, and huge place. I don't know how you use the word home with it, but it was, you get lost. So many bathrooms, all this thing, went in there. Out back, this big barn. And Raleigh, I kept telling him, tell me more about yourself. Tell me about your journey and how you made all this money. He's quite wealthy. He built skyscrapers downtown Denver and had his own businesses. And he started telling me about his journey and start from nothing to something, that kind of stuff. And he said, and by the way, I collect cars. And I says, really? I said, I like cars too, Raleigh. I said, and I told him about my 57, a few things. He said, oh, that's nice. He says, well, let me show you some. I said, oh, let's go. Anytime a guy can get in a garage, it's a good thing, And so he opened up, the lights turn on. It's a huge building, like 2 or 3 times the size of what we're in right now. And the lights come up, and I felt like I was at Jay Leno's place, with all these cars lined up, and all the lights come on, and it just takes your breath away. Kind of like this last couple of days over at the auction. It was overload, too much. I don't think I can come back ever again. It's just too much information, too many cars, too many. I like that one, like 2 of those, like like the pastor says, coveting, 10th commandment. We worked on that all the time. We're out there coveting, But so we're walking around through here. He showed me. He says, "You might like this one, Pastor." He says, "This is the latest version of the Dodge Viper, and I'm happy to report to you it was in red. All Vipers should be in red." And so he says, "Why don't you get in there? Because I've never been in one." I said, "Oh, that'd be a great idea." So I opened the door. I slip in there, and I found out the cockpit, the place you sit in there, is a little too tight. So I got out and I says, "Raleigh, I don't think I want that one. It's a little too tight. It doesn't fit me. It doesn't fit me just right." He laughed. So we looked at some other things. He had some motor homes, you get lost in. You have to have a GPS to get around. He had all kinds of stuff in that warehouse. And I said, Raleigh, all these things, that's pretty amazing. You accumulate all this. And he said, yeah. And he goes on. I said, well, tell me more about your life. He says, well, let me just tell you something. All the stuff you're looking at, he says, and he got real emotional in his voice. He says, I need to tell you that I didn't acquire them with integrity. I said, keep telling me what you're thinking there, Raleigh. What are you saying? He says, well, when I built this, I cheated on this contract. I used this person, and then I bribed this person. I did it. He went through a whole list of things. I said, well, Raleigh, I don't need to know all that, really. And he says, well, Pastor, I want you to know all that because I want you to know how bad I am, how evil I am, and why I feel like I said, Raleigh, salvation's a free gift. It's free. It's, God can, and I showed him text. He can, wipe away your sin. He can, deepest part of the ocean, he can eliminate. He says, no, that's for other people. That's not for me. And he kept telling me how bad a person he was. He told me how he used his family members, his sons, his daughters, to make the business grow. How he made them work. He put guilt on them. He used them. And by the way, they didn't get along. Here he is approaching death, and he doesn't have a relationship with those that, his own immediate family. So he went through all that, and I said, really, Raleigh, what you need to hear again, over and over, I kept telling him this, don't dwell on your past and your failings. That's the evil one, the Satan wanting to remind you how bad you are. Dwell on the present and the future, Raleigh. And I shared with him the text I shared with you this morning, John 14, 1-3. He said, oh, I'm not worthy of that. I can't go to heaven. I couldn't. He wouldn't accept me. And I kept telling him over and over and over. Well, it came down to the point where one night at 4 a.m., God woke me up. And I know it had to be him because I'm up at night really good, but I'm not up in the morning. My body clock's changing now, but back in the day, it was 4 a.m., I'm awake. I'm near Porter Hospital, 3 blocks away. I get up, and I know where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be at Porter Hospital, our Adventist hospital in Denver, and Raleigh's up on the cancer floor. I remember going in there at about 4:20 a.m. The lights are down. As you go up to the fifth floor, I think it's 3rd floor, all the lights opens. It's real quiet. And some of you understand this. There's a smell, a presence, a feeling that's unique about those floors. As I walk down there, I come around the corner to where he was, his room, and I'd visited him the day before. As I came around the corner, the lights in the hallway, the dim lights, reflected into the room. As soon as I came in the doorway, the voice came that I recognized. He says, Pastor, I've been waiting for you. And I says, well, here I am, Raleigh. And I'm here to tell you, Raleigh, time is very short, and you know that. And I believe God woke me up this morning to come bring you a message. And the message, Raleigh, is about salvation. And we've talked about this before, and today, Raleigh, you need to give your heart to Jesus. And he says, but, and he starts into this list again. I says, but nothing. I says, the promise of the Creator God, the master designer of all of us, He loves us so much, He just wants you to give. And here's the sinner's prayer, Raleigh. It's this simple. And I went through the sinner's prayer with him. That'll be taught, I think, by our Bible workers if you want to join some of their seminars. I shared with him sinner's prayer. He says, I'm ready to give my heart to God. I'm ready to do that, says Raleigh. So we prayed the prayer together. He cried. I cried. He cried some more. I cried some more. His wife was in the room. She acted like she was asleep the whole time. But she was struggling with her relationship with God. And she stayed quiet. Well, the good news is Raleigh did give his heart to Lord Jesus Christ.